Hey nerds, what's up? Today I'm going to be talking about Witcher, the new Netflix series that just came out that is based on a book and a video game. I finally finished the entire series, well season I should say, and I want to talk about it. So let's go! First off, I want to talk about, I recently did a Google form for both of my channels and asked you guys to fill it out. From what I've gotten so far, basically what I've been told is that you guys would like to have big wrap-ups, like monthly wrap-ups, but on my second channel, more Sassy Kassie, for movies and television. So that is where I'm generally going to be talking about movies and television and how I'll be doing it. But for right now, I want to make a review about Witcher. So this is coming from somebody who knows that there is a book and a video game about Witcher first, and it's an adaptation, but I have no background history of ever reading or playing it before. So I came into the story of the Netflix show without any background on anything. Witcher is mainly about a man who is called a Witcher, which is kind of like a monster hunter who has powers and gold eyes, and he is essentially paid to get rid of monsters in various villages. Story of The Witcher has what I believe to be 4 main time plot points throughout the series, and the first is with Witcher and his monster hunting. The second is with a princess whose grandmother is killed during battle and then she goes on the run. And the third of which is about a mage or magician wizard type character who is looking to become powerful, and all she wants in the world is to be powerful. And then the fourth is the moment before everything comes together into one timeline and all of them meet up. It like randomly goes back one more time because it wasn't confusing enough. So the first thing I want to say is that the whole plot, timing wise, I felt they made extremely complicated for no reason. And for the most part, it just made the story convoluted rather than made it interesting. I think that there were too many is really the problem. I like when stories do it well, of like, oh, you're watching 2 different plots, 2 different main characters, 2 different points of view, and eventually you realize, oh shit, these are 2 different timelines, and at some point they meet back up. I like that in a story. So it's not in any way a problem that they did that. I think that they just didn't do it well. So there's that. I really loved some of the costume and makeup of the special effects. There's that one, oh, this is gonna have spoilers. Spoilers is now warned. Spoilers for the series. Please don't get mad at me if you're spoiled. So, there's that one scene in like episode 3, I think, with the princess who was turned into a monster, and then she ends up stabbing the Witcher at the end, and she's like that gray monster being, and she kills that guy. And then the Witcher gets her to become a person again, and then she still stabs him. That was so cool. The costuming, the makeup, the fact that it was like part person and part puppet rather than CGI, amazing. But then episodes later we have that scene with the dragons and the guy turns into the dragon and the CGI was crap. The dragon looked like shit. So what happened? Why did we go from having this badass costume design to this shitty CGI? Why did we do that? I don't know. I also want to talk about the mage. The mage could have been a great character. Let me first point out that there is definitely a lot of conversation going on about, I can't even remember her name, but the mage's storyline about how she starts out as being a person with what you would assume to be a disability. She is a hunchback and has something wrong with her face. She's like, I don't know if this is the right word, but disfigured, and I'm hoping that that's not an inappropriate term to be used. She's being talked down to for her disability by her parents. She gets taken into the mage system, and it seems to be being like stronger, and you can see that her power is growing, and then she uses that power to become beautiful. And I can see why this conversation is being had about how a lot of times in fantasy we take a person with a disability and then have magic just fix it, and that's potentially harmful to people with disabilities. So put that aside for a second, because I gathered that and I am not qualified to have that discussion. I want to talk about the part where this mage goes from being a person who will give up everything to be powerful, and I thought that this was the beginning of a villain's story. We watch her transform, and she has that beautiful line after she's transformed where she says, all I want is to be powerful. And I was like, yes, like we're gonna get a badass villain. This is the start of it, because people who only care about power are villains. Like, if that's all you care about, you're a tyrannist. Like, duh. So I was so excited to get this badass narcissistic villain getting started. But then no, in 2 minutes, they give us this weird time jump, and it's been like 30 years, and now all she wants is a kid. Wanting to be a mother has nothing to do with the problem. The problem really is that there's no freaking plot development or character development for her to go from wanting to be all powerful and being the most powerful mage in the universe to giving that up because she wants to have a kid. The only thing I can say is there is that scene in the midst of that scene, she is trying to save that girl and her daughter, and the daughter dies, the baby, the little infant dies because she can't save them. So now she wants to have a kid. I don't believe it. I'm sorry. The way it was written, or the way it was acted, the way it was directed, I don't have an answer for why, but this 5-minute scene that changes this woman's all-encompassed need and want from one to another is not believable, in my opinion. A lot of this story, though, I did like. I really loved The Witcher and just his, like, I love the way that his demeanor. It was just like this, you know, stoic badass who can do whatever the hell he wants. He has like this moral high ground there because he like doesn't want to be paid to kill people. He wants to be paid to kill monsters, and there's a difference. I liked his story for the most part until he meets the mage. Then we go downhill again, because where was the chemistry? Other than the fact that these two people are both very pretty people, there was no chemistry. Why did we suddenly have this intense sex scene in the middle of the building falling apart? Like, what? What? Why does that turn you on? I don't get it. I don't understand it. I just was laughing at it. Like, this is what you decided that you wanted to spend your time doing after the building almost collapses to kill you? What? My favorite part of the series in all was the bard. He was fantastic, and his camaraderie, his bickering is more accurate with The Witcher, is the best thing to exist on television. I absolutely love the dichotomy between the bard, who is this boisterous, goofy, romantic almost, with this stoic being who just is focused on his task, and I just need to finish my task and then I can move on. Putting them together was like the best choice ever. I absolutely loved their dynamic. It's my favorite part. And then we need to talk about our princess. So the big thing that I hated about her plotline was the grandma. The grandma, in this world, we have a queendom, not a kingdom. So the queen is the higher power here than the king. And she's the one that has control. That's really freaking cool. But the queendom felt like it was written by a dude who doesn't know anything about women. I don't know if that's true. This is all just based on feelings. The way that the queen was written was just so douchebag with a vagina. What? Why is she written like that? It was so distracting to watch this woman like flounce about like a man and be like, oh, who gives a shit? I'm the baddest bad of them all. And like, it just felt so forced and weird and like, why? And I didn't understand why she was like that. It didn't feel real. It didn't have any, it felt so superficial to have her written like that, especially in the later scenes where it's like back in time. The first time we see her, she feels a little bit more regal, and that felt a little bit more real. But in those scenes where we've like now flashed back and she's with her daughter, not her granddaughter, it felt gross. I did not like it at all. I really liked the part with the daughter of the queen and her lover who has the curse on him, and all that part of it was cool, and that fight scene was cool. It just was the grandmother who was so distracting. And then going back to the beginning of the story and kind of all the way through with our princess, I really liked her elfin friend who like follows her around, and I liked the dynamic of like her having to listen to people who have been tormented by the queendom, and her not knowing that she's part of it, that she's the princess, and her having to hear all of it. I really liked that was there. I liked a lot of that in those scenes where she's visiting like the elfin troupe that has been moved out of the country and stuff, that's like on the run almost. Also really liked that weird, like fantastical forest. Don't really understand the purpose of it for those people. Did they explain it and I wasn't paying attention? I don't know. But I liked all of that. And then at the end, the one thing I will say is like, I know that they know there have been like fortunes telling them, the Witcher and the princess, that they play a part in each other's lives, but I thought it was weird that they like ran, and I guess I didn't think it was that weird. I think the problem is that there wasn't any chemistry. I don't think the writing of them running up to each other was weird. I think that it felt weird because the actors made it feel weird, or the directing made it feel weird. I don't know which, but something felt weird. The other thing I wanted to say was I was so disappointed that character in the very beginning, the girl, I was so disappointed that she died so early. Like, I thought that she was going to be one of our main characters. She was badass. It was so cool to see. I loved that fight scene with her and the Witcher, and I really thought that it was going to end where they could be like mutual frenemies. And that's not what happened. He killed her. I was so disappointed. I really liked a lot of the fight scenes. It was clearly entertaining. I was entertained by the visuals and all of that stuff. The end fight scene with all the mages felt a little bit weird, but I'm gonna digress because I feel like I've been talking a lot. Basically, I felt like, one, why were they like drinking and hanging out and having a good time before the battle? Shouldn't you be more stressed than that? Have the fun after the battle, what? And then on top of that, why did the main mage that we care about, the powerful one, why did she not do anything for like most of the time? It felt like it was supposed to be this like epic battle, but something was lost in it and it didn't feel epic. It felt meager. It didn't feel big enough or powerful enough or epic enough. It didn't feel like the season finale, although you could tell it was the season finale at the same time. Giving this series the season a 3.5 out of 5. I'll definitely watch another season of it. I feel like if I'd read the books, I would understand more, and I think that speaks to a bad movie adaptation or series adaptation. I feel like they got rid of some important things that could have been, that may have been detrimental to the TV adaptation. And I think this about a lot of series adaptations or book to movie or book to series adaptations, where people think that they can, one, rely on, oh, this is a popular book or video game or whatever, so now I don't have to do all of the work to make all of the background information work, because a lot of people will watch it who already know it. But like, you've got to speak to the people who don't know it, because honestly, they're probably a bigger population. And also, that's just good storytelling. Like, don't replace all of your good storytelling on the author. Use what the author created to process and produce the good storytelling that's set out for you. So I feel like this has that issue, honestly. I think that's a big problem with it. But I did find it entertaining. I thought the costuming and set designs and music were all phenomenal, and I did enjoy it. I just also found myself rolling my eyes at it. And with that, I'm going to end this video. What did you guys think about Witcher? Have you read it? Have you played it? And what did you think about it? I'm curious to see how all of those little pieces tie in together. Coming from somebody who obviously likes to read and does watch a lot of adaptations, this is like not a new problem, and I'm curious to see if what I think is true about the fact that this might just be an adaptation issue is true from you guys who have read or played it. Is that true? So that's my question for you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I make videos on this channel every Monday and Wednesday, and I hope that you'll hit subscribe so you can see the next time I post. I also have all of my social media links along with my second channel linked in the description box down below, so I hope that you guys will check all of that out, and I will see you guys very soon with a new video. Bye! I love you guys!